welcome to Haji's Hobbies. Today I will be creating a painting that is inspired by the work of Władysław Strzemiński. When I came home in March of 2020, I tried to recreate one of my favorite paintings of his, which is called Sun's After Sight, Woman at the Window, and I never finished it. In December of 2020, my dad asked me to create a large painting, so I drew this bad boy. And now that I've imitated his art, I have a better sense of his structure and how he created it. I think I've never studied avant-garde art, but I'm going to try to create my own version of a Strzemiński painting. If you want to create your own Strzemiński-inspired art, you will need a canvas of any size, oil paint, paint brushes, a ruler, a pencil, something to cover your table, something shiny to mix paint, and something to clean your brushes. From a quick Google search, I noticed 3 different characteristics in many of his paintings. The first layer seems to have geometric lines that separate contrasting colors. The second layer has shapeless squiggly figures that cross over the borders of the previous section. And on top of that are more squiggly lines that are not filled in. I'll keep a few things in mind as I paint: sharp lines, squiggly lines, and contrast. I first heard of Strzemiński in one of my classes last year when we were studying art and Socialist realism. Towards the end of his life, Strzemiński had the difficult task of choosing between doing what he loved and believed in, or following the state orders and adhering to Socialist realism. Under Socialist realism, all art had to be optimistic, realistic, and pro-Soviet society. Yet, Strzemiński chose to continue to paint what he believed in, but face the consequences. He was fired from his job as a professor, his art was removed, and he lived very poorly until he sadly passed away a few years later of tuberculosis. For these outer sections, I wanted to imitate how Strzemiński seemed to have many different colors in an overall shade. I didn't quite get there, but I did this by layering different stripes of color next to one another. When I was done for the day, I used all the extra paint to fill the sides of the canvas. For more contrast, I wanted these middle pieces to be very light in color and for them to have a smoother blend than the outer pieces, which are more obviously defined. I decided to spread white paint on the canvas first, and then tried to incorporate small amounts of other colors to have a more blended off-white look. As I went about this new off-white blending style, I learned a little bit about mixing paint. At first, when I tried to mix the paint I had, I kept making the same colors over again. It sounds obvious, but in order to get new colors, you have to be quite deliberate and exaggerate what you think the ratios are. For my last step, I'm going to add another level of Strzemiński style squiggles with this thin brush. For this last layer, I made sure that the lines would cross many borders similarly to what I did previously. Then, when I painted, I used the same colors on each section while following the lines that I just created. It adds a dynamic look, and I think it creates more depth. Finally, sign your name, and there you have it, your very own Władysław Strzemiński-inspired Polish avant-garde fascist fighting painting, which you can call something like Illusions of Duality, Window Within a Window, 2021. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.